A very good morning to you. This is the official YouTube channel of Sausage Tree Safari Camp. My name is David Batsoffen, and I'm joined today by the co-owner, James Carne. James, good morning. Welcome to you.
Good morning, David. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. It looks like we've reversed roles. It looks like I'm in the sun and you're in the cold, but I have to tell you that I'm wearing one of your Sausage Tree t-shirts and I'm freezing here in Johannesburg.
Well, it is designed for up here, not down there.
Yeah. Listening to your accent, James, I know that you're not from Southern Africa, and you must be having a bit of a chortle at the moment, living where you do near Hoedspruit, where temperatures in the summer can easily reach 48 degrees. When you see that in England at the moment they're whinging about 33.2 being the hottest June ever.
Yeah, it is a little bit different out here.
Ju- Just a tad. James, tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit about the camp before we launch into some images.
Um, yes, well, I came over here 20 years ago
Right.
on a sabbatical
Mm.
as a volunteer for 3 months in between careers, but not knowing what my next career was going to be when I got back to London. But one way or the other, I never got back to London properly
Right.
and put anchors down here. Went back to school, studied to be a Fagasa guide, worked for about 2 years at a reserve and then began to freelance. Met Sonia, my wife, and we started to look for a lodge
Right.
with partners back then. And we looked at a lot of places. It was only when we came to Sausage Tree that all four of us were agreed that this was the potential. It was somewhat run down
Mm.
back in the day, but that's a good thing. In England, they say if you're going to buy a, a pub, buy a bad pub and turn it into a good pub, which is a bit of simple business sense. And that's what we did.
All right.
It was
So
a
that's actually a very nice segue into my first image, which is welcome to Sausage Tree. Now, this seems to be a competition between camps at the moment. Who can make the most interesting and the most unique welcome drink? And yours is no different. Tell us a bit about this particular, I want to use the word concoction, but I'm using it in inverted commas.
A concoction is fairly accurate. It is a cocktail as such, non-alcoholic, but extremely tasty. We went with our front of house ladies. We went on a course with a local supplier on making these kind of different cocktails, and we stock the different ingredients, and we make all kinds of different welcome drinks as well as different cocktails during the day and the evening for our clients.
Now, when guests arrive at Sausage Tree, I think they don't quite get what they expect when they walk through the front doors. So let's do a bit of that. Let's walk through the place. This particular video is mainly a welcome to Sausage Tree. We're not looking at any areas specifically now. We will over the weeks and months to come. So let's have a look at this particular little corner. And in the rack at the back, you will find these t-shirts that I'm wearing, and they're very comfortable. It'll be great for summer, not so great for winter though.
Indeed, we have a library at the back there,
Right.
which also doubles for shelf space for various items, often with the sausage tree theme to it,
Hmm.
such as our sausage tree creams made up by a lady locally with all the skin benefits that are contained therein. We don't have a retail shop as such, which some of the bigger lodges do have. So it's you're not walking into a high pressure retail operation, I'm pleased to tell you.
Right.
So it's supposed to be chilled atmosphere from the moment you step in to when you leave.
You
This is
talk
a
about
de-stress
those.
area.
Yeah, de-stress. Yeah, it's always interesting to me when you walk into a lodge where there is retail space, and they make sure that it's very close to the entrance, or you can see it as you walk in. So you're immediately there are certain members of the population, we shan't name names, who will gravitate towards those sort of things, and then spend inordinate amounts of time in there while you just want to go and sit on a deck with a pair of binoculars or a camera and enjoy your arrival.
That is true. We have a small retail section with uh, just a small range of hand-picked items, hand-picked jewelry, such things like that, special sausage tree scarves, which actually have the imprint of leaves
Oh, okay.
from our very own sausage tree.
That's always a good thing. Now, the one thing that's not up for sale, or one of many things that's not up for sale, is your dog that's lying in the foreground here. Um, how would you describe the style of your interior design?
That's a very good question. Now, if I give you the wrong answer, my wife, who's responsible for the interior design, will never forgive me. So I think the best description is an eclectic mix of
Mhm.
modern and traditional lodge.
Okay. And also on the minimalist side, which I really like, I hate places being cluttered and overcrowded, and you go into sort of sensory overload when you walk in because you want people to enjoy the outside and the inside, but the outside is what they've come for. Inside, they can be sitting at home, basically.
True, true.
Yeah. And
It's it's
this
a it's a fine balance, which I wouldn't know how to achieve, but luckily Sonia does.
And this is sort of a view that you get. The door on the right of this image leads to the car park, because unlike a lot of lodges in Olifants West, you can actually drive right up to the lodge. You don't have to wait at a gate for somebody to come and fetch you. So this is where you arrive. You've walked through. You've seen. You've had your welcome drink. Uh, can people sit here if they want, James? They're not forced to sit outdoors if they don't wish to. They can just chill here and read a book if they.
Not not at all. They can sit entirely wherever they want to.
Right.
Basically, the minute they step into the camp, it is their camp until
Okay.
such time as they check out. They can sit wherever they like, and there are quite a few different seating areas.
Hmm.
Not that we are a big camp in the sense of a lot of guests. We have a maximum of 10 under normal circumstances, but sometimes that could be five different totally independent couples,
Hmm.
and they want some couples time, as it were.
Fair
And
enough.
there are areas where, apart from obviously their own tents, the luxury safari tents, they can park themselves off in different areas around the main lodge, uh, uh, and just chill
Great.
themselves.
I hope we've whetted our viewers' appetite. So, people, if you want to get hold of Sausage Tree, that's how you do it. You can call them on 015 793 0098, or you can email them at info@sausagetree.co.za. If you haven't got a pen and paper handy right now, don't worry, this slide will come up again. I promise you, maybe even more than once. Um, Let's move on. We're still in the main building here. Uh, do your meals happen indoors, outdoors? What is the purpose of this particular table, James?
Okay, the aim is for guests to enjoy sitting in our boma under the stars, having their three-course evening meal.
Right.
Uh, but the weather in these parts doesn't always conform to being able to do that if it's raining, which we don't get a lot of,
Right.
very little. But if it is raining, then and there's a bit of wind, then rather than being in the boma or on the deck where I'm seated here, which does have canvas flaps
Mm.
that slide down, but being inside on a cold winter's day, sitting around that dining table that we're looking at there is very convivial and it stays warm in there under the thatch roof.
Do you find that your guests enjoy what I call long table dining? In other words, they're not seated individually. You come together in the morning after a game drive, in the evening, you're outdoors, lunchtime, you could be here. And do you find it becomes more of an immersive experience for them because they're learning about other people, other cultures, while they're sitting and enjoying their meal?
Absolutely. There's been some very strong friendships that have developed around the long table experience of breakfast and lunch. This is
Hmm.
where we normally have breakfast and lunch. And people are sitting next to each other on the long around a long table. They tend to converse more, but of course, they've already been on a minimum 3 hour safari before breakfast. And once there's a coffee at Marula stop, which kickstarts the conversation, uh, they they start to talk to each other, and, as you say, exchange pleasantries and stories and backgrounds, and friendships develop.
I have to say that this is why I enjoy being in the bush, and this is why I specifically enjoy being at lodges like Sausage Tree, because everybody's having the same experience during the day. You know, nobody's going shopping or going to the beach, and then everybody comes back and they have nothing in common. Here, they've gone out, as you say, on an early morning safari or in the evening, and what has happened is they've all experienced the same sighting, but perhaps in different ways. So when they come back and they can sit and they can chat, because you don't want too much chit chat on the vehicle, you want to sort of be in the moment there. Then this is what, as you were saying, as you referred to, James, is when the friendships are made because people then understand each other better rather than just a wave in an amorphous dining room with no connectivity at all.
Agreed, agreed. And in
Yeah.
the evening in the Boma, couples will be sat together on a table, but the tables themselves are very close together,
Yeah.
which also makes for interchange and the exchange of stories and ideas and experiences shared during the day.
Now, you mentioned luxury safari tents, and I don't know, there's a certain generation, and I suppose you and I are both fall into that category, fortunately or unfortunately, where we remember perhaps moldy Boy Scout tents, the old sort of wigwam style, where you've got to bend to get into. They're freezing cold, they drip in wet with condensation. That's not what Sausage Tree is at all. The only thing you can compare is the fact that your tents have canvas sides. Aside from that, it could be a room with brick and mortar surrounding it. They are stunning.
While they are very comfortable, our guests enjoy the comfort of the tents. It is always an ongoing marketing challenge to overcome some people's ideas that are generated by the word tent.
Mm,
Glamping is a description which has more and more currency nowadays, but we want to get away from portraying any idea that you're in a two-man tent in the middle of
yeah,
a in of the bush, uh,
definitely.
especially for first-time
Yeah.
safari uh, goers. So it is a little bit of a challenge marketing-wise, and how you present yourself on your website is important to try
Mm,
and overcome that what is for some a natural prejudice, people who weren't in the Boy Scouts, the Girl Guides, and didn't experience outdoor life. It's a big step to sign up for
it is, I think.
a tented safari holiday. However, as you quite rightly say, it is actually really luxurious, in the sense there's everything there that you could want. It's solid brick built bathrooms with outdoor shower, with privacy, and there's air conditioning in the tents. There are extra blankets for this time of year. Hot water bottles are provided, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. The door on the left of this picture leads to the bathroom that you were referring to. And people who look at
Correct.
this picture carefully could see the wooden surround to the outdoor shower. And for me, an outdoor shower in the bush, doesn't matter what the season is. I challenge people, and I've challenged myself to do it. Middle of the South African winter, take a warm shower outside. There's nothing like hot water cascading over you, and the moment you switch it off, you're frozen. It's almost like being in Europe, where you in a sauna, you dive into an icy lake and then back into the sauna, and you can do that here at Sausage Tree. And the devil here is in the details. Um, how many of these hand towels and towels do you lose to guests who want to take home a souvenir, James?
Oh, actually, our guests seem to be extremely well behaved
Oh,
in that score. Um,
okay.
that and the fact we do a body search as they leave. No, I'm kidding. Uh, so, yeah, we really, I can't think of when we've
Okay.
had any of these go walking.
The reason that I ask is many years ago, I outed myself on my own radio show. I had a guest in, and we were talking about things that get removed from hotel rooms and lodges. And I said to the particular guest, I'll start off. I take do not disturb signs. I don't anymore, but I did. And I said to her, and what do you take? And she said, absolutely nothing. And I said, so you've just allowed me to out myself, lie, tell me you take ashtrays or something. But
Mhm.
I no longer take anything. It's not worth it. And all those do not disturb signs have long ended up in a garbage heap somewhere. Now, they say that an army marches on its stomach. And if that is true, then so do safari guests. And people who visit Sausage Tree Safari Camp will not be disappointed at the fare that is placed in front of them. How, James, do your staff cope in the middle of the bush by providing delicious tasting and looking meals 3 times a day, every day of the week?
They do very well. We're very proud of our kitchen staff. I would like to point out what we don't do, which some lodges do, especially the larger ones. We do not do a 7 day recurring menu.
Right.
There are economies of scale connected to that, but if you do that, you really run the risk of killing the passion for cooking in the kitchen. And luckily, Sonia is a very enthusiastic chef. She trained Pizzo, our chef, who in turn has trained KB, and we encourage our kitchen team to experiment. They're exchanging ideas, recipes, And we also really go the extra mile to make vegans, vegetarians not feel like second class food citizens, and to endeavor to make their experience of food at Sausage Tree to be really an enjoyable one and varied and interesting and memorable.
Well, that's the important thing because, a plate of badly boiled vegetables does not a vegan or a vegetarian dish make. And I'm sure you found that out over the years and honed those kitchen skills to a particular point where now you're comfortable and your guests with the dietary requirements are comfortable. I should imagine though, James, that people who have dietary requirements should let you know when they book, not when they walk in and they're about to sit down for their first meal and they go, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that I
Mm,
am a," and then you've got to scrabble for food.
absolutely. We do have several checkpoints during the whole inquiry to booking,
Hmm.
acknowledgement of booking, whereby repeatedly we do ask guests to let us know of any dietary preferences, special special
Mm.
requests, allergies, etc. It's a very important aspect.
It is indeed for their peace of mind and for yours. This is looking back towards your main building, roughly from where you're seated, in fact.
That's correct. That's our main deck with two large swivel sun umbrellas and several sun lounges, a small plunge pool, keep our guests cool during the summer, uh, and we invite the more hardy guests during the winter to have
Take
a
the
dip.
plunge.
Good for the circulation.
Yeah, that's what they say. But now, what caught my eye when I looked at this particular image is who are the little people, James?
Ah, okay. Well, that was a stab at humor, David. Sonia and I are little people. We're not. We are what is known as vertically challenged, and
Right.
that what you're looking at is quite a low headroom.
Right.
So rather than write low headroom or watch your head, uh, we thought we'd write something different and
Fair enough.
hopefully non-offensive.
To those who may find it offensive, maybe they can't even read it because it's a stab at humor, people. Don't take this up the wrong way. It's either that or it's your head on that solid wooden beam. You were talking earlier, James, about Bulma dinners. This is where they take place, and Bulma dinners under an African sky is just one of the most special events, really and truly.
It has a certain ambiance enclosed by the circle of tall reeds, which we've just changed to tall lats over the last few days. This is our quiet month, June, and
Right.
it gives us the opportunity to do some major maintenance, upgrades, and so on.
Hmm.
And we've just commissioning a brand new Boma, same area as
Right.
you're looking at now, but just with lats, which tall lats,
Mm.
which provide even more wind protection.
Which is important
So
because you want to be encircled and you want to feel nice and warm and comforted. And
exactly.
for people who have never seen an African sky when there are no clouds, it is just one of the most special events of any bush stay.
Especially this time of year
Yeah, because
when
the
when
skies are
this
so clear.
indeed the views of the mountain during the day are spectacular.
Yeah.
You can virtually see every crevice, and they're 60 kilometers away from here, but it's
This
so
is
clear.
it. And people don't realize that what they're looking at from your area is the northern Drakensberg, which runs all the way down into KZN. People think it's only KwaZulu-Natal that have the Drakensberg, but no, people, it almost runs the spine of South Africa. Again, if people are now going, oh yes, please, we have to visit, the contact phone number is 015-793-0098 or info@sausagetree.co.za. James, for people who want to visit, when is the best time?
Any time is a good time to be in the bush, is the
Right.
answer, of course, I must give. It really depends on your personal likes, dislikes. So this time of year, you've got to be prepared to pack a, a larger suitcase because you need
Hoodies
lightweight
and warm
clothing.
clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, you need both. You need
Yeah.
lightweight clothing because you're going to be experiencing temperatures of 25, even up to 30 degrees
Mm.
during the day. But when the sun goes down and before it gets up, it can be decidedly chilly. So you need a few layers. Um, so there's that aspect. You have no risk of rain during this time of year. However, during the summer when there can be a little bit of rain, but as I've said previously, this is a very low rainfall area.
Yeah.
So it's very rare we have any interrupted safari drives. Very rare.
I I always laugh at those big sort of testosterone filled guests who at the beginning of a morning drive think, oh, it's very nice. I don't have to take a jersey or a jacket. The moment that Jeep starts moving and they realize that they've made a mistake,
Yes.
I'm sure your guides have had to do U-turns or blankets and hot
Well,
water bottles.
luckily we carry on board. They are designed primarily for if and when there is rain, but we carry
Yeah.
on them on board ponchos, which
Mm.
are lined so that they're warm.
Yeah.
And we have those on board. So those uh, uh, brave guests who were a little bit too brave, perhaps, we can offer them one of these nice and warm lined ponchos, and
Fair enough.
we don't have to turn back.
Great stuff. James, thanks very much for joining me here on the official Sausage Tree Safari Camp YouTube channel. You and others from the lodge are going to be my guests over the coming weeks and months, and we will look at various aspects of the lodge from food to the accommodation. And I know there's new accommodation that you're dying to talk about, but I'm going to hold you back on that. We're going to make that into a special episode. And I'm hoping that this will whet the appetite of both local and international guests to come and visit Sausage Tree.
Thank you very much, David, and we look forward to some more episodes.
Great stuff. This has been the inaugural video of the official Sausage Tree Safari Camp YouTube channel. My name is David Batsoffen. Until the next time, bye.